Software development is changing so fast that traditional coding skills are becoming increasingly outdated.
We at Meta are going to have an AI that can effectively be a sort of mid-level engineer that you have at your company that can write code.
It is our job to create computing technology such that nobody has to program. Everybody in the world is now a programmer.
And so I'd say maybe 20-30% of the code that is inside of our repos today in some of our projects are probably all written by software.
Engineers will be more productive than ever before. More people can become programmers.
In the beginning, it'll be really expensive to run, and then you can get it to be more efficient. And then over time, we'll get to the point where a lot of the code in our apps and including the AI that we generate is actually going to be built by AI engineers instead of people engineers.
The way we build software and apps is evolving, and I'm not talking about new frameworks of coding, but I am talking about revolutionary change with autonomous agents that can actually think like a coding assistant. And that's exactly what I want to introduce you to today. Devin, the world's first AI software engineer from Cognition Labs. I still remember my days from BTech when I was struggling with coding. But now, whether you're just starting out or you're a professional software engineer, this AI tool will help you with writing your first drafts, debugging errors, and API integration tasks with other tools like Slack, GitHub, and more. Devin can be your personal AI software developer assistant. It's not just a fancy autocomplete tool, it can actually plan, code, test, and even create pull requests. Now, in coding, a pull request means the process of making changes to a project and submitting them to the team to request approval to add their new work to the main project. It allows everyone to review, discuss, and merge changes more seamlessly. Now, please note that Devin is not a vibe coding tool for building the first drafts of your next big billion-dollar idea. It's actually a productivity multiplier for real software teams. So if you're a freelancer, a startup founder, or a developer who wants to work smarter without losing control over quality, then this video is for you. In short, Devin can oversee a complete engineering project from start to finish while you can focus on the bigger picture. Welcome everyone. This is Ansh Mehra and you are learning at the Cutting Edge School, a platform for businesses and professionals to learn the skills for the future. So without further ado, let's get started. In today's episode, we will cover everything you need to know to get started with Devin. Even if you are hearing about AI agents for the first time, I will teach you how Devin works, why it is better than other tools, and why every single programmer watching this video should use it today. In chapter 1, we'll cover what exactly is Devin and its fundamentals. In chapter 2, I'll show you how to build an existing project with Devin. In chapter 3, we'll discuss how Devin generates test reports and handles documentation along with how it works with API integration. Now, it's important for you to understand that this is a brief walkthrough of how the software works. So I will be taking you through all the important key steps, but it's your responsibility to refer the link I've put in the description and the official documentations to do your actual practice. Now, as I mentioned before, Devin is an AI software engineering assistant who can write, test, and fix code almost as effectively as a human teammate. It works as a fully autonomous AI agent that can execute complex programming tasks end to end. Now, you can integrate other third-party tools as well, for example Slack, with Devin to delegate more complex tasks via the web application. You can tag Devin on a Slack thread about a bug that you're discussing with your coworker, and it will automatically start helping you. Beyond the core Devin AI agent, you'll also have two sub-projects. First is Ask Devin. That gives you access to super advanced and accurate question answering for your code base. It's almost like having your own deep research for your code. Second is Devin Wiki. It can turn your code repositories into detailed documentations with diagrams. Think of Devin as an assistant who can handle repetitive, time-consuming tasks, allowing you to stay focused on the creative and the strategic part of your product building. Now, all you need to get started is a GitHub repo with code. And when you share the link, Devin will start working for you. Now the best part is that it can understand plain English. So you can prompt stuff like add dark mode to my to-do app, and it will not only write the code but test it, document it, and submit a pull request for you. In fact, there's this really cool confidence bar that tells you how confident Devin is about its plan, so you'll never be lost on what's happening with your project. If we talk about its pricing, the core plan is for $20, which is approximately 1800 rupees, which includes 9 agent compute units, which are called ACUs, and $2.25 per ACU. Now, if you use your 9 ACUs, you can pay $2.25 per ACU, which is approximately 200 rupees. Now, Devin operates on a credit-based model, so you'll have to use your credits in order to achieve more outcomes. And the team's plan is for $500 per month. There's no monthly payment commitment, so you pay as you go with the plan. Now, some complex tasks like building an app will require 1 to 4 ACUs, so you have to think accordingly. Now that you understand what Devin is and how it works, let's put it to test. So I am going to build a real project from scratch to see Devin in action. Chapter 2 is going to be extremely valuable for software developers because I will take you through a feature that will fundamentally change how you approach all of your code bases. We are diving into modifying live GitHub repositories with Devin, and I'll walk you through the exact pull request approval flow that will help you integrate the code generated by Devin. But I'm sure you're asking that why should we trust Devin? So before we jump into the technical implementation, let me address what every CTO of every tech company is going to ask me when they watch this video. What about the data security? Now, Devin is SOC2 Type 2 compliant. What this means in practical terms is that independent auditors have verified their security practices over extended periods. They do not train their models on your user data, and you can opt out of having your data used for evaluation purposes. Now, let's take a look at Devin's UI. This is what sets Devin apart from other AI coding tools. I'll walk you through Devin's planning screen where you can see every thought process laid out step by step. It's literally like having a senior developer explain their entire approach before writing even a single line of code. Now you can click on every action Devin takes, inspect the code in real time, and even tweak the implementation live. This means that you always stay in control of the development process, which is very crucial for enterprise environments where governance and oversight are absolutely non-negotiable. Let me show you a realistic scenario using my existing GitHub repository. I am taking a simple to-do list project and I'm asking Devin to add dark mode with smooth animations. But here is the key. I want to see how Devin handles this as a professional developer would. So this will be my exact prompt. Hey Devin, I have a React to-do app at this URL. Can you clone it, set it up, and add a beautiful dark mode toggle with smooth animations? I want to show how you can quickly make this app look professional. And this is Devin's implementation process. Step number 1 is repository analysis. So Devin would scan the entire codebase structure, the dependencies, and the existing styling patterns. Then it will move to step number 2, which is the planning phase, where it would create a detailed implementation plan with architectural diagrams and actually explain you the approach. Step number 3 is going to be code generation, where it would actually implement the changes systematically while maintaining your code quality standards. Step number 4 is documentation and testing, which is all about auto-generating very comprehensive test use cases, documentation, and deployment notes. Do you remember that in our last video, I had taught you a new mode of creating new products, which we called as the echo loop. Now, echo loop is all about finding your code destination and then reverse engineering from position 0 to the final destination. Because if you're using AI tools that will directly give you the product without any documentation, then it's almost like a black box for you. You can barely fix anything that you do not understand. But Devin fixes this problem very gracefully. What's even more impressive is how Devin approaches the task like a senior developer. It doesn't just add a toggle. It actually considers the component lifecycle, the CSS architecture, the accessibility requirements, and the browser compatibility. Now, if you're using any other AI tool, you know what I'm talking about. It takes so much of time to get the first draft from all the other apps on the market and then build on top of them. But here, Devin has fixed almost everything that most people end up wasting their time on. But what about the pull requests? This is where Devin becomes supremely practical for actual development teams. Devin generates a pull request exactly like any human team member would. It would have the detailed code changes, like line by line modifications with clear explanations. It would give you the implementation rationale, where it will explain you all the architectural decisions, all documented thoroughly end to end. It will also speak about test coverage, which is automated test cases covering all the new functionality. And it would create a visual documentation that would have diagrams showing component relationships and all the data flow between them. Now you as a human developer can review, approve, or request changes or just reject it, exactly as how you would do with a colleague's work. Now this maintains your existing code review processes while leveraging top-notch AI capabilities. Let me speak about another very cool feature, parallel Devins, which is almost like a productivity multiplier, because this is where things become 10 times better. Parallel Devins let you run multiple AI developers simultaneously on different tasks. So you can give multiple tasks to Devin and it can work on separate tasks at the same time. So one could be for testing, one could be for refactoring, one could be for documenting the code, all of them running simultaneously. Do you remember in some of our previous videos I showed you how companies are now hitting $100 million annual recurring revenues with really lean teams? They've been able to ship products because they've been leveraging tools like Devin. I'll show you how this can help you accomplish more tasks without worrying about Devin being stuck on one single task. Devin's capability to multitask could be really useful in a tight deadline. This feature is what makes Devin such a powerful productivity multiplier. And you can basically get 3 engineers worth of work done at once without tripling your budget. Now I'll show you how this works. I'll quickly take you through how you can write a prompt in simple English, check the implementation plan made by Devin, keep an eye on the code that is being implemented live on Devin's virtual machine, check the documentation made by Devin, and show you how simple it is to merge these results. Let's explore Devin's Ask Devin and Devin Wiki features. These are like having a really senior developer on call, like a manager on call, ready to answer very advanced questions about any line of code and even draw diagrams for you. It is super handy if you're working with legacy code or onboarding new team members. Now, let me paint you a picture. I'm pretty sure that as a budding software engineer, you know that feeling when you join a new company or work on a new project and they hand you this massive code base with incomplete or almost zero documentation. And you end up spending your first week just trying to figure out what is happening. Or maybe you're a UX designer and you need to understand the technical architecture, the information architecture, but the developers are too busy to explain you everything. Now this is where Devin Wiki comes in. All you need to do is index the repo, and by doing that, at the click of a button, you'd be able to view documentation that helps you navigate an unfamiliar code base from scratch. But how does this even work? First, it automatically scans your entire repository. And I mean everything. Every file, every function, every connection. It does this regularly so that your documentation stays fresh. And this is the cool part. It creates these comprehensive architectural diagrams. Not just basic flowcharts, but detailed visual maps showing how all your modules and services are communicating to each other. On top of this, you will have an AI assistant in the form of Ask Devin, which allows you to question everything in your code base, furthermore boosting your understanding even more. All you have to do is ask, and it gives you detailed answers with direct links to the actual code. It's like having a super smart AI tool, but one that actually understands your specific code base and not just give you boilerplate code. Now the best part for all of you watching here is that there is a completely free version of this called Deep Wiki that works with any public GitHub repository, and you can go to deepwiki.com right now, paste any GitHub URL and see this in action. You do not need to sign up or use any of your credit cards. Moving on, by the end of the next chapter, you will see how we built a complete working MVP entirely with Devin, including comprehensive test cases, deployment documentation, and architectural diagrams. This isn't just a proof of concept, it's production ready code that will meet your standards. The transformation from a basic to-do app to a polished, feature-complete application is now happening with minimal manual coding and maximum strategic oversight. Now, this is the future of software development workflows, and students and professionals who implement these AI-powered approaches will have a significant competitive advantage as the industry evolves over time. So let's move to chapter number 3. Let's test Devin's capabilities with something more challenging. We are going to connect a website to an API called JSON placeholder. Now, an API is like a messenger that lets your app talk to another app or a server. Now, JSON placeholder is not a real server. It just pretends to be one. So developers can practice using APIs without breaking anything. Think of it as a fake backend service that pretends to be a real API. It's basically a free testing ground that developers use when they want to practice working with APIs without having to build an entire backend system. Here is why this is brilliant for learning. When you're starting out, building a backend with databases, authentication, and all that complexity can be really overwhelming. But you still need to understand how front-end applications talk to servers. JSON placeholder gives you the experience without the backend headache. But here's what's really interesting about why we would add this to the project. This isn't just about making the to-dos persistent, though that's a part of it. This is about demonstrating all the complexity that comes with real-world applications. We're also keeping the dark mode changes from chapter 2 while doing this. Now, why is this test so important? In real apps, like the ones used by millions of people, things get more complicated. Here is what happens in the real world. Your network requests can fail. Sometimes the internet is slow or the server just doesn't respond. Then you have to design user-friendly loading times. You need to show users something while the app is waiting for a reply. You have to handle errors. The app must know what to do if something goes wrong. Then you have to make an optimistic UI. Then you can fine-tune the UI in a way where you influence the users in making them believe that things are working faster than they usually are. All of these small things come under state management, loading, and error handling. And all of these things together make an app strong enough for real users. Now, how does Devin handle all of this? Instead of just quickly adding code, Devin actually follows an approach which is extremely practical. It added special safety checks in case the internet connection breaks. It showed loading messages while the data was being fetched. It used optimistic updates on the UI, making it look like something has been working instantly. It was able to do bug fixing on its own, where it was able to create production-grade debugging. Every developer knows this nightmare. It is 1 AM, the production environment is broken, and the manager is demanding immediate fixes. This is where Devin will become super valuable for you. Let me show you a bug fixing demo. So here we have intentionally broken the app by creating a design that looks pretty weird. So it has a green background and all of this nonsense stuff. Very similar to what could happen if someone makes a mistake before releasing the app. Now here is how Devin fixed it better than a human programmer. First of all, Devin could instantly figure out where the problem is. And while most people would start clicking around randomly to fix things, Devin looked at the entire code and understood the structure in the fastest way possible. It checked all of the parts, the components, the API code, the styles, and the dark mode, and it figured out that the design issue was probably because of how the components were behaving. It checked how the styles were applied to each part of the app, and it found where styles were clashing and causing the issue. Now, the game-changing part here is that Devin didn't just fix the immediate visual problem. It cleaned up the styling code to make it easier to manage things at scale. It made the dark mode smoother and less buggy. It improved how the app handles errors in the background. It made sure that the design looked right in every situation. But Ansh, what about the test cases and the documentation? Now this is where I really like Devin for enterprise development, because with every change, it creates production ready documentation where it is testing every part and it is checking every little function one by one. So in our example, it tested if the APIs and the data updates were working correctly. It tested the full flow like a real user with end-to-end tests, and it checked all the weird edge cases to make sure that nothing breaks. It also wrote down why it made certain decisions in the code, and it gave a simple guide on how to connect the APIs. In fact, it also suggested more ways to make the app faster and more efficient, and it explained how to launch the app and undo the updates safely. Now, this kind of testing and documentation documentation is exactly what big companies need when they're working with lean teams on tight deadlines. But after all of these features, you still need a real human engineer to guide the strategy and to manage all of these agents and to think about an architecture that will scale with time. Now, obviously, it's very clear that if you're a software developer and if you're pursuing a degree in computer science, a tool like Devin AI can save your time, manage tedious and repetitive tasks, helps you document all the steps and test the code properly, and in general, it can avoid so many mistakes for you. So in simple words, Devin is not replacing you. It can help you work smarter while you continue to engage with better problem solving. So if you're a freelancer, a startup founder, or even a budding software developer, a tool like Devin AI can completely take your skills to the next level. Let us know in the comments section if you want us to make more such technical oriented videos. And if you want us to train your company on latest AI tools, then send us an email on collab@anshmehra.com. I hope that you're taking care of your mind and body. This is your dost Ansh Mehra, and you are learning from the Cutting Edge School. If you enjoyed this video, then do check out this video right here.